mindsets. We move forward hand in hand. Yeah, 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 let's learn together. Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to another live. I'm your host, Helen Dunnett, and I'm part of a network of coaches and trainers internationally. We call ourselves We Are Ready for You, and we all have very different skills. But one thing we all have in common is that we help organizations who are under stress adopt fresh thinking so that they can grow. And I think the goal of these lives each month is to encourage some fresh thinking in our working week. So today I am joined by Diana Siepmann. I'm just going to put her on screen here. I'll put you on this one instead. So Diana, welcome. Welcome to this live.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So Diana is let me get this right, functional medicine consultant. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So we are going to talk today, or we're going to have some fresh thinking around the unspoken impact the pandemic has had on business performance. But before we do, Diana, what the heck is functional medicine?
Right, love it. Let's dive right in.
Straight in.
Yes, and I love actually that we talk about functional medicine first, because it's very important to kind of get your head around what that means. And I'm trying to keep it in very simple words. I know you've been very good in making me aware that sometimes I use some medical jargon. So if I lose you anywhere, stop me, okay?
Okay.
So functional medicine gives us the insights and the tools to help people have their bodies function the way nature intended. Because when your body functions the way nature designed it, you feel great, right? It's actually as simple as that. And when I forget what that's supposed to feel like, it's like we're born to feel alive, right? And I love watching these videos on Born to Be Alive. It just really produces that feeling of what it means to feel alive. So that's really what it is about. And that also implies that we're looking at the all day, everyday health and vitality and functioning at your full potential, right?
That sounds nice.
And so what could get in the way of feeling your best every day, all day? Those are things like fatigue, concentration issues, lack of focus, joint pain, maybe headaches or migraines, digestive issues, heartburn, right? Skin problems, maybe unexplained weight gain, but also mood imbalances, right? Depression, anxiety, and even burnout is on that spectrum. But you can imagine by the time someone is in burnout, a lot has happened before someone gets there. So what we do in functional medicine when people experience these health challenges is we go and look for the root cause. We ask the question, what happened in the way that the body is supposed to function to make you experience those things? And then when we identify those root causes, we can work on those to reestablish the balance and have those symptoms go away. So that involves a lot of work on, lifestyle choices, and we have a big focus also on the environment. Sometimes it's also genetics, but really the big focus is lifestyle and the environment. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so here we are, first thinking about impact. So, and we're looking at it from functional medicine. So what's different about functional medicine? And I'm actually not even sure what I'm comparing it to. Is it traditional medicine or what's different about it?
Okay. Yeah, so you use the word traditional medicine. I would use the word conventional medicine, I guess. And it's good to contrast, right? Because it's important to understand the difference. Conventional medicine is excellent at acute care. So when I before talked about the all day, every day, that's the chronic situation. conventional medicine is excellent and often life-saving in acute care, which is anything that needs immediate medical attention. So let me
Okay.
give you some good examples of those. That would be a pneumonia, for example, which is
Yeah.
typically caused by a bacterial infection and can be treated with antibiotics. A heart attack, a stroke, broken bones, an uncontrolled bleeding after an accident, stitching someone up after an accident. All of those things, right, that need immediate medical attention,
Yeah.
and where it's really key that someone can give an astute, quick, correct diagnosis to match the treatment that, yes, could be life-saving for that person. And the
Okay.
treatment quite often would involve medication, right? So where it gets problematic is when we use that acute model of care
Yeah.
for the more persistent and recurring chronic situation, because
Yeah.
that means we are applying the same model of diagnosing and then treating the diagnosis, and we completely miss the opportunity to ask what happened in the body biochemistry and the physiology, what happened that caused those issues in the first place. Because by the
Okay.
time we give a diagnosis, we've missed all of those questions.
Okay. So it's still a little bit fuzzy for me. So can you make this a little bit more concrete for me to understand?
Okay, yeah, okay. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to start with a question, and maybe if we have people listening live who want to participate, you can also put maybe your answer in the comments.
Okay. And on that note, I do want to say hi to Evelyn. It's so great to have you here. I hope you're still watching. And Sonal, big hi to you. And Risto, great to see you from Finland. So thank you guys for checking in. Anyone else who's there, we'd love to see you. So anyway, yeah, tell me, give me something concrete, because it's
Okay.
yeah.
So let me just paint a picture, and it might seem a little bit off, but just bear with me.
Okay.
Imagine one morning you get in your car and the oil light on the dashboard comes on,
Yeah.
and you think, I've got to do something about that. But you drive to work, stop the car, go to work. After work, you get back in your car, the light comes on again, and you think, I've got to do something about that.
Okay.
But you don't. You come home, you don't do anything about it. Same thing next day, right? The light comes on. Again, you think, I've really got to do something about it. And this keeps going like for a week. You get annoyed about the light, you know you have to do something, but you don't. So at some point you say, okay, enough's enough. We're going to do something about it. What are you going to do?
Well, I guess I probably should either call my husband or call a garage, or buy some oil, or yeah.
Okay, well, it's fine. It's
Okay.
okay. I might actually ask my husband to do it as well. But yeah, I mean, you know, the oil lamp, it has something to do with the oil, right? So
Yeah, it has something to do with the oil. I gotta fix the oil
right.
thing.
So it doesn't really matter who does it, but it's about opening the bonnet, right? Finding that little stick in your oil tank, checking how much oil is in your tank, seeing if it needs a top up, maybe the car needs an oil change, and problem is fixed, the light is going off. Right? So why do we do that? The oil tank is quite far removed from the light, so it's not even directly connected. Why do we do that?
Because my dad showed me how to do it. So I'm probably not helping you at all, but you know, growing up with 3 brothers and a dad who loves cars and motorbikes, you know, I just know you lift up the bonnet and it's that.
Right. I have to tell you, this for me is probably also something that I learned from my dad, but it's because it's designed that way, right?
Okay, all right.
People who make the cars make this light come on so that you know to check for the oil, right?
I see. Yeah,
So
sorry. Yeah.
there's a direct connection between the lack of oil and the light coming on. So you know, whether you do it yourself or you have somebody else do it, that's kind of the obvious thing to do.
Okay.
So would you agree with me then that no one in their right mind would choose to put black duct tape on the light to get rid of it?
No. Well, you know, like just stick over it to so you don't see the light.
Stick something over the light, because the light's been annoying you for the whole week.
No, that would be
Well,
mad.
that would be mad.
Expensive.
Right. So I agree with you. That would be a bit mad. But just for argument's sake, let's assume you choose for the duct tape
Okay.
and you keep driving your car. What's going to
Mm.
happen over time?
You're gonna drive past me on the motorway at one point with I don't know what actually oil does. That's guilty. All right, it does magic. I know it's very important, but it would be the car would break down ultimately.
Yeah. So it wouldn't end well for the car. And
Yeah.
I'm not a mechanic. I can't really tell you exactly what happens, but yeah, we both know it won't end well for the car, and maybe thanks to our dads, we know that. So I hope this is an example everyone can relate to. Now let's move that to the human body. Okay. And I know
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that.
you can relate to headaches, right? So let's pick a headache instead of the oil light on the dashboard. So now you're getting headaches. Maybe at the beginning it's once a month, and then maybe it happens more often. Maybe you get them a couple of times per week. Actually, maybe you wake up with a headache every single day.
Oh God, your dad's talking my language. This is my past, and headache, migraine. I'd say they were migraine, but yeah, absolutely.
So you have these headaches. What do you do?
I pop a pill. I was on codeine. I was on codeine for years. I've stopped it now because yeah, but yeah,
and
I
right,
it's the only way to function.
Yeah, so that's probably really more also for the migraines. Even for just regular headaches, people typically would choose to take a painkiller, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's ibuprofen. So you compare that to the car example.
Yeah.
What's the pill?
I want to say, okay, I guess I'm not putting oil in the tank, but I don't really feel it. Is it really a duct tape?
Well, let's play this through. If you knew that the reason that you're having the headache was dehydration, you would probably fill up your water tank, right? You'd probably drink more.
Yes.
If you knew that was the
If
reason.
I knew. Yes, I
You knew
would.
that was the reason. So in the car, I told you it's designed that way, right? The light comes on because there's not enough oil in the oil tank.
Yeah.
In the human body, it's unfortunately not so simple. And while, yes, it could be dehydration, it could be lack of sleep,
Yeah.
it could be a histamine issue,
Yeah.
it could be a sluggish thyroid, it could be food sensitivities, and it probably could be other things as well. So when we pop the pill, we haven't even asked the question, I wonder why I'm getting these headaches. We're so used to doing something that takes the discomfort away that we don't even ask the question.
Yes.
So while I'm not criticizing necessarily to want a quick fix for the headache, I want to open the thinking to asking the question, I wonder why I'm getting these headaches. And then if we just spin this further, like we said, if you use the duct tape on the oil light, it's not going to end well for your car. If you keep taking the painkiller, especially if it's from that group of painkillers that are the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen is, over time, this medication can damage your stomach lining. It can even cause ulcers, and it can damage your gut lining, and it can lead to what we call leaky gut, which is a hyperpermeability of the gut lining, which now lets things into the bloodstream that shouldn't really get through the gut lining. And it can cause food sensitivities, which you remember can be a cause for headaches. So now we're in this vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Which isn't, there's no resolution in this, you see?
Yeah. And I definitely was in that cycle. I definitely, I think I put it on the LinkedIn because I did your health check, which we've got, by the way, if anyone's interested, it's in the chat already, but we can add it at the end. You can do a free health check on Diana's website to school yourself on your current healthness. And what's really interesting about some of those questions actually are, I hadn't really kind of they are all health related, but some of them were actually quite unusual, and I wouldn't have considered them as something that I should look out for, or is just natural because of my age. So going back to that, Diana, we've got 15 minutes left, and so I really want to shift this to work, because we were talking offline a few weeks ago, hence the reason why we're here today, around the pandemic and the unspoken, unseen impact the pandemic has had on business performance. So how can you, where do you want to start with that?
Okay, let me first say, when we do in this functional medicine approach, when we look for the root causes all the way upstream, what we typically find are either poor food choices, stress, toxins, or infections. And very often it's a combination of those, right? We all know that when we're stressed, our food choices get downgraded to maybe processed foods with full of pesticides and chemicals and high in carbohydrates and high in sugars. So typically combination, but I want to zoom in on the stress, right? Because this is what we have seen unprecedented levels of, at least in our lifetime and in this part of the world, right? What we've seen in the past 2 years in terms of stress, anxiety, loss, grief, isolation, polarization, financial worries. It's unseen, and it's moved past the stage of affecting individuals, right? It's really, it's not even groups of people, it's everyone, it's entire nations globally that have been affected by this. And where before the pandemic we worked with individuals who've been affected, and even before the pandemic, we saw depression and burnout on the rise, but now for sure we see the impact on mental health. And I really want to get the point across that stress is just the beginning of a cascade in the system that nature designed. So what does stress do? Stress raises cortisol. Right? Cortisol impacts our sleep. We know when we don't sleep well, our cognitive functioning doesn't work so well. When we are in a stressed state, we shift our attention away from our prefrontal cortex to more of our limbic brain. So our decision making gets affected, our efficiency, our creativity, our emotional regulation, which also impacts leadership skills. But it doesn't stop there, right? Cortisol impacts our blood sugar. We have poorer food choices, which also impacts our blood sugar. That impacts our hormones, which can lead to feeding into that anxiety, just from a biochemical point of view. Cortisol suppresses our immune system, which makes people more vulnerable to falling sick.
So that's when you take a holiday after a really stressful time, you're sick for the first week.
So yeah, that also happens because at that moment your body thinks, finally there's time to recover and let the immune system do its thing, right? That's when you get sick, where once you're in the stressed state all the time, you might have these underlying infections that never quite get cleared until you go on holiday, when your immune system really gives it a good boost. Also, the cortisol also has an impact on our digestive capacity, which can actually also lead to acid reflux. And then over time, just the stress on its own, but let's say someone also takes these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to get rid of some pain. Stress alone can also lead to leaky gut, can lead to food sensitivities, which leads to inflammation, which increases the cortisol even more. Which is what I think is very much overlooked in any situation of burnout, is that you can send someone home and get them out of the work stress, and maybe even make sure that at home the stress is mitigated in whichever way. But if you already have physiological stress going on in the body, and let's say someone has developed a gluten sensitivity, and they have cereal for breakfast and a sandwich for lunch and pasta for dinner, their cortisol levels will stay through the roof, right? They cannot recover from their adrenal I'm using the word adrenal fatigue here for simplicity. It's not
Yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
correct. It's not the correct term
All
here,
right, all right. It's
but,
been noted. You
but
perfectionist,
you
professional.
can see how the breakdown in the biochemistry and in the physiology, we go back to, we want to function the way nature designed it. There's so much happening that it's not enough anymore to just look at removing the stress factors, because there's so much happening under the waterline that needs to be addressed to
Okay.
bring the body back into balance. And if you think that this has now really affected everyone, and that for any employers or HR managers who might be listening to this, that means it's also impacted your human capital, and undoubtedly it will impact the bottom line.
Yeah.
So this is where I feel we've moved past this state of this being personal responsibility, and that's where I feel the employers are in a very they have this opportunity to step into this void that I feel is there, that conventional medicine cannot come to the rescue for, because the knowledge for that chronic type dynamic isn't in the conventional medical model, and it's typically too late, right? It's possibly antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication to help people sleep, or it's a burnout diagnosis, which is too late. And then there's the coaching side, which is really about helping people tune in with their intuition, and to get people to tap into what's already inside of them, where what we need here really is a deep understanding of the biochemistry and the physiology, so that we can build in group settings, right? We can build, or we can focus on building the foundations of good health.
Yeah.
With that functional medicine knowledge, and then you can layer coaching on top of that, and it will be a lot more effective, because we can make sure that people's brains work properly to even be in the right place and be coachable.
It's really interesting what you're saying, because I won't go into it, but it's kind of making me think about, yeah, it's true that when I'm coaching with people, I talk about cortisol as well, because it impacts the way that you communicate, it impacts the way you think. I've Sonal, who pitched up, I don't know if she's still with us, but we were talking about, when you give feedback, or if you receive feedback, it's your cortisol will trigger, along with your what's the other one, adrenaline. But it's such a sort of unspoken, for me, I never really hear this being talked about. For people who have burnout, they just get, as you said, they just get sent home, and then they go back to work again, and they might have had some therapy of some sort, but I've never heard anyone really, unless it's a personal interest, look at their food or the way that they manage their health. So can we, how do you support organizations, Dana, specifically? What do you, can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, so what we can do in group settings that, like I said, will really focuses on building the foundations of good health is what we call team talent care.
Team talent care.
Team talent care, where we really look at the different pillars of good health, and you can use the dynamics in the group setting of accountability, and just having the group motivation to do something together, right? That works really, really well.
Awesome.
Then maybe more pandemic specific, people who've experienced spike protein damage. We know that, I actually looked this up, apparently 10% of people still suffer from long haul fatigue and cognition issues. So we have a long haul fatigue cognition recovery program, which could be done in groups, but can also be done one-on-one. And then for, I would say, maybe strategic staff members who have more personalized needs to look into the individual biochemistry, we also offer one-on-one work that would really go much, much deeper.
So 3 different types of things: team
talent care,
then the long haul, and then the individual, very specific
one-on-one work.
Support. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but okay, so that's great. That's for, that's kind of for HR. But the one thing I love to do on these lives is like, what can we start doing? You, me, people watching this, we don't have perhaps an HR person caring about us. What can I start doing or actually stop doing right now that would help me? I don't know what's the word, increase my vitality, my health.
Yeah. So I would say number one, start seeing your symptoms as a gift. Yeah, see the headache as a gift.
Oh,
Your body trying to tell you something, and
okay.
start asking the question, why? I wonder why I'm experiencing this. Number two, make use of our free health check to help you do that in a more structured way.
Right, the one online on your website.
Yeah.
Okay, I just will add it again afterwards, but I can't quite do it. Oh no,
Yeah,
I'll tell you what we can do. Hold on, let me know. I've got the technology. Hold on a
you've
sec.
got the technology. We can pop it in the comments
There
afterwards
we
as well.
go to that website.
Yeah, great. And it's on that first page. And then number three, don't let things get so bad that you're tempted into choosing duct tape. I have been there. I have been there. Honestly, I know how tempting it is when you feel bad.
Can you
So,
give me a couple of examples? So duct tape for me was, codeine and for my migraines. But can you give me some other examples of what duct tape might be, but people don't realize is duct tape?
Acid reducing medication, for example, for heartburn.
Okay.
Which is one of the most prescribed medications, I think, today.
Is it?
And it, again, just like the ibuprofen, it has a downside to using that long term because it affects your digestion. Benzodiazepines, anxiety medication that people might use just to be able to sleep, right?
Is that that's a sleeping drug? Is it?
It's an anti-anxiety drug.
Anti-anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's very often prescribed to help people sleep.
Oh, okay.
Antidepressants.
Right.
It might be a dysbiosis in your gut that's making you feel depressed. And while I understand that sometimes that duct tape might be an interim solution to make you feel better, I'm not against medication, okay? That I also want to say there's a purpose for medication, and sometimes we look for more natural solutions that give you the same effect. But the thing is, don't stop there. Ask the question, I wonder why I'm experiencing this, right? And then number three, also, I would say, ask for help, because the blueprint of the body is not as simple as that instruction manual of the car.
Okay.
So there is no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in admitting, I struggle with anxiety, I can't sleep, I struggle with depression, I don't know what to do about this. We have too much stigmatism around mental health, too much taboo. I think we need to open up the conversation. So do reach out for help so it can be addressed.
Yeah. So, because you said about mental health, and I was thinking this was physical health, but you're saying the two are linked, and I hadn't really. Okay, that's really interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay, so what I heard is see my pain, my problem as a gift. Get a health check and you can use your free one, which I did, and I got a score of about 2022 or something. Yes, I was very proud of myself. As I just saying, that wouldn't have been 10 years ago. That would have been way off the charts. Migraines 3 or 4 times a week, neck problems.
See, you're older now and you feel better now. So don't blame it on age.
That's true, right? Yeah, because it's true. 52, God damn it. But yes, at 42, I was very creaky and under a huge amount of stress, or my food choices all over the place. Yeah, so see pain as a gift, get a health check, do this one online, which is at that website. Don't use duct tape, you said, and ask for help.
Yeah.
Did I catch it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good summary.
Okay. So how can people get hold of you, Diana? So we've got this website here. Is that the best way for people?
So that this website, you will also find in the navigation menu, there's also a page for corporate for anyone who's interested in that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, through that website, there's a contact form, and I have made space in my agenda for anyone who wants to continue this conversation, specifically also on the corporate side. You can see that you can book in to ask questions or to have a more one-on-one exploration of the possibilities.
Oh, that's amazing. So what, they literally go to the website and they can book a
Yeah,
session with you for free?
Yeah, on the corporate page, you can.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. How nice. You're very generous. Diana, this has been really insightful. I've got more questions, and I think I need to get you back on again. Yeah, to continue the conversation around this topic.
Yeah,
So,
I'd be happy to.
Excellent. Well, we'll have a chat about that offline. So it's a wrap. Thank you so much. Just want to give a heads up that the next live is again the end of April. So that's the 29th of April. And I have another guest, David Cochran, who is a voice, executive voice coach. He was an opera singer, awesome guy. And it's more than just the way you talk. So he's got a lot to say about how to inspire your audience when you give presentations. So I hope you come along for that one. If you want to learn more about We Are Ready For You, let me just put the link on there. That's the website. And yeah, just reach out to either me if you want to know more about We Are Ready For You, or literally reach out from the website and you will speak to Michelle or somebody like that. So thank you very much. Looking forward to coming back. Diana, thank you so much for your time. See you soon.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.